And we are back, episode 21 of the Overdue Sports Show. I'm your host, Jake Sawinski, finally accompanied by Will Massa again. It's been a busy 4 6 weeks, really.
It has been a super busy 4 to 6 weeks. We actually had an episode in the pipeline that never made it out. It's just dead in our recording. Literally within seconds of us wrapping up the show in the outro, it shut down. And then it recorded for 3 hours. StreamYard had an issue. So we've got this like 3 hour recording that we're sitting on that we can't export. But there will be a day where the lost tape comes out. But so this was supposed to be 22. We were supposed to give you a little filler episode in between our travels and all that good stuff. So that ended up not happening. So instead of getting one, you just had to wait a couple more weeks to get us.
Yeah, it was a hiatus for sure. But kind of weird because we do have a few things that we can talk about despite it kind of being baseball and really the only thing going on. And I'm not talking about the WNBA. Don't watch it. Just bet on it. And I mean, it's been pretty slow, minus me like pissing away my money at baseball because it's been a bad year. But we're on the All Star break. Monday was the home run derby. It's not. It's like objectively not the worst performance you've ever seen. But how did Jazz pass the background check to do that? That because like I don't. Let me preface it again by saying it was probably wasn't the worst round ever,
No, it
but that
wasn't.
doesn't mean it wasn't bad because it was horrible.
No, it was awful. And then for him to afterwards, I actually thought what he said afterwards was pretty funny. That he said if he had 20 at the All Star break last year, he'd do it next year and like actually try and hit home runs.
Oh, he
And you're
played
right.
it off like not.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and no, this is not the worst ever. If you remember Brandon Inge, utility man for the Detroit Tigers, he snuck his way into a home run derby. I don't remember which year. He had 0 home runs. Granted, that was the 10 out system. So
yeah, which makes it. I feel like well, I was talking with some of the buddies on after in our group chat, and it's like the 10 out system had to be like it can't be a timed one, right? Like
no,
being the
we have to
worst
go back to
one.
10 outs.
Oh, okay, well
I
we'll get into that, but
oh,
I'm just saying for like if you
in
were to
terms of the
rank the
timed
worst
era,
home run derbies.
that was probably that.
Yeah, because like with the time oh for sure with the timed, yeah, because I mean
Yeah,
it's been 10 years with the time maybe, but like they've kind of been tweaking the format it seems like every year to make it a little
yeah,
more enjoyable because like 2 years ago or 3 years ago they hit like 400 home runs and it was like you changed it to make it shorter and it was just the same amount of time. So like tweaking it sure, but like what I'm getting at is like with the time there is like a sense of urgency, right? With you hitting zero with no time and just outs, that's really tough because I mean those things took 6 hours. Like you could sit there and take as much time as you needed. So like I feel like he's automatically not qualified for the worst round in a home run derby ever, but it was still pretty shitty. Like
you also get more swings off though. I mean, he probably got 25 swings off in 3 minutes, if not more.
yeah, but I feel like the pace that you need to do might
I
make
agree
it
with you. You
harder.
see,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
you see a lot more pitches, but like the percentage wise, it's. I can't say it, I almost said it was worse, but it can't be worse because it was 0.
No, because it's a fixed amount. It's 0 for
It's
10 as opposed to like 3 of. Well,
two
you
for
can't divide by
30.
0, I guess.
Yeah, you can't. But still, I mean, you know my point. I mean, he got a
Yeah.
lot more swings off, and he still only got two. But I did think his comments afterwards were funny. I still think he's a very overrated player in baseball, but he's a guy that if he really committed to the home run derby, I think would actually be pretty fun in it.
Yeah, like he's got pop. Like
Yeah,
he kind of reminds me of like how Joey Gallo would hit, like when he was, more home runs than singles kind of vibe.
that was his
Not
whole
saying
career.
it's true. Yeah, but you get what I'm saying, right? Like when he was actually good and not being
Yeah,
destroyed by the Yankees. But kind of reminds me of that, right? It's just like all pop, no average. I don't know, maybe I'm off base with that, but he just gives me that kind of vibe and like he almost like you remember what was the guy's name for the Marlins that hit that crazy ass moonshot in Colorado a couple seasons ago? Something Sanchez.
Oh, Jesus Sanchez. Yeah,
Yeah, like
he hit like a
gives me that
900 foot
kind of
home run
vibe,
there.
you know. He
Yeah,
just
that's a better comp than Joey Gallo.
yeah. Okay, there we go. Okay. Don't know ball
uh,
clearly.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I haven't loved the home run. I used to love the home run derby. I love the 10 out system. I would love to go back to 10 outs. I get why they do timed. I just don't find it as fun anymore. And they went away with head to head, which I do agree with because now it's just the top four in the timed rounds, which I think is a little bit more exciting. But like the whole fun part of the home run derby for me as a fan was watching head to head. Like I want to see guys be head to head. I
Yeah,
know you
like
do. I know you end up doing it like at some point in it. So like that first round isn't head to head, but I like the bracket style. I think it's exciting.
yeah, and it's like, oh, some guy had a killer round. Let's see him go try to get one more. Like whoever, like Vlad hit 23 home runs, and then who won it that year? Did Vlad win it?
Vlad
Pre-
has no. I think it was Pete, wasn't it?
No, I don't think Pete ever won it, or did he win it the first year?
No, Pete definitely has won one.
Okay, well maybe that's what it was. I think it was like Vlad and Pete in that championship round. It's like Vlad has a great round with 23, and then Pete's like, okay, he's got to get 24. But like that was the championship round, so you'd have that now. But like each round, you know, two,
Yeah.
two, two, two. Yeah, that would I agree with that.
See, that's why I like. That's why I like the outs though, because then like Vlad hitting 23, like he could have just kept going. Like I think they should. If you're gonna do the time, that's fine. I think the final should be 10 outs. Let's get to that. I think that would be sweet. Make the final, just the final two. Everything else is timed. You get to the final two. No more bonus balls. None of the golden ones. We're just going 10 outs.
And maybe 10's not the number. Maybe it's 8.
Yeah,
You
I don't
know,
care what
like
it is.
yeah, you know what I mean.
Go to the out
Yeah, I get what.
system.
I get what you're saying though. Even
Because
though
then you end up with chances for the like. Do you remember the Josh Hamilton? Was it Josh Hamilton and Joe Mauer? Was that the crazy one when Josh Hamilton hit like 45?
yeah, yeah, and like
Um,
Bobby Abreu had a crazy round like
yeah,
that too, where he hit
you
like
end up with
80 or
that,
whole thing. Yeah,
which is like, as a fan, like that's what you want to see. And if that's how you get to it in the final round, then so be it. I don't care if the rest of it is time. Give me the last round or the semis in the last round. Give me outs.
well, what did you think about the
Puzzle.
bonus round being out? Was that enough for you, or not quite?
It's a step. I'd like to see the whole round though. Like
Yeah.
I think the finals just doing outs would be really fun. Like it also gives it gives an opportunity for it to be a dud, like in the odd case that someone gets like four. Because if it's timed, like they're gonna
Hmm.
hit a decent amount. But I think
Well.
doing outs in the finals would be really fun.
Hmm. And just kind of with pooey rounds versus decent rounds. I think betting overs in a home run derby is dead. I think it's
I bet
dead.
the over the last 2 years. I didn't take anything this year, but I've taken
I
the
did
over
it
the last
this
two or
year, and it
3 years.
was not close. I don't think it's hit in 3 years. Like not even
Last year,
close.
I remember reading the rule tweak for last year's, and I was like, "There's no way it's not going over." It went over by like 100.
Oh,
I
last
think,
year's
I think,
did go
yeah, I
over.
think the line was like 365, and the total was like 480.
Well, like this year was 240, and I don't think they clipped 200.
Really?
And like I don't want to poo poo Jazz for that. Like poo poo him
He
for
didn't help.
being. I mean, he didn't help, but neither did Junior and Byron Buxton in round two. They had 15 between the two of them. So it's like blaming Jazz, while convenient, was definitely not why. That was just a shit line they set. So, but I mean, do you have anything else from the Derby? Because I mean, most of it was pretty
I do
good.
actually. I do actually. I was not a big fan of having Pat McAfee on it. He's just not a baseball guy. I disagree with doing that. I get why they did it because he's a big sports personality and it's marketable. I thought it was really bad actually having them on it, like as a baseball fan. I think for casual viewers it was probably better with him on it. I was not a fan at all. I would have rather seen anybody else do it.
Well, you saying Pat McAfee was on there was the first I heard of it because I did not have the sound on.
Uh, Yeah, I turned it off because I was sick of
Oh,
listening to him.
so I didn't
He's
miss
just
anything.
no, he's just not a baseball guy. Which like I get it. Like he's probably the biggest sports personality that isn't working for a major
Yeah,
network or anything, or
yeah,
I
he
guess
brings
technically he does.
excitement.
But
Yeah,
yeah, I just well, it's not my cup of tea. I'm not a
no,
fan of him doing play by play for it. I like when he's on College Game Day, like before previewing everything. I don't like
yeah,
him for baseball scene.
no,
Not my
and
thing.
that's fair. I feel like most people wouldn't take any qualms with you saying that. I certainly won't. I didn't even know
I
we
know a
did it.
lot of people.
Didn't have the sound on.
Twitter had some choice words about him. I'll keep it a little bit nicer than they did.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that. I mean, I don't think anyone is picking apart his talent. Just like,
No, it's just not a sport.
yeah, exactly, and that's totally understandable. Anything else about the Derby?
That's all I got for the Derby.
All right, and we were talking a little pre-show. You said you did not watch much of the All Star game, if
Did
at
not.
all. Um, oh, before you go, the jerseys. What did you think of the jerseys? Because I thought they were terrible. Not the All Star game jerseys, the Derby jerseys. They were.
Oh, those were so stupid. I saw those a
Okay.
while ago. I saw when they released it. I was like, why? Because they went back to wearing your team jersey, which I love. Like that's
Yeah, in the All Star game they did,
yeah,
anyways, but
in the
not in the
actual All Star
Derby.
game. No, the
Mhm.
Derby, yeah, they were gross again, just like last year. They were disgusting.
Okay, yeah, they kind of gave me like old Expos vibe with the font, but like the
Yeah,
colors were just
I was not
yeah,
a
those were
fan.
those
I
were
thought
ugly.
last year's were super ugly too, but I'm really happy that they made the decision in the All Star game to go back to wear your own jersey because I think that's the way it should always be. I love that. I think it looks
Yeah, it
so much
looks
better.
cool. You just have 9 guys in the
Yeah, it's
field with
sick.
different jerseys on. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
way
that's cool.
better, way better.
Yeah, I'm with you there. But some Brewers pitcher who made the All Star game captured headlines this past week. So, what do you think about that?
I I even tweeted this out. I said I understand it, but I don't agree with it. And I'll kind of explain that. I understand it because you're kind of doing what you did with Paul Skeens, right? Paul Skeens technically was not a qualified pitcher at the All Star break, albeit he had 70 some odd innings at this point last year, rather than Miz's 27. I believe he's at 26 and change coming into it. So 5 starts for Miz compared to probably 12 starts for Skeens, 13 starts for Skeens, something to that effect. And people were mad when they gave it to Skeens because they're like, "Oh, he's not qualified. Give it to somebody else." And they gave him the start. Oh, he shouldn't be starting this, that, and the other. And he shoves because it's Paul Skeens. That's what he does. Um, I and they just doubled down on it. Which, in terms of what baseball needs to do, it's 100% the correct line of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that he was so underqualified in terms of workload. It ended up, and it didn't even really bite MLB in the ass, to be honest with you.
Just
All
bit
the
him
hate
in the
got thrown at
ass.
Miz, yeah, like
Yeah.
as if he had any say over it. And you even said that before the show. You're like, he didn't pick to be in it. Like they told him, and the whole thing with, like, yes, Christopher Sanchez very deserving. Yes, Ranger Suarez very deserving.
Mm-hmm.
Christopher
100%.
Sanchez turned it down,
Which is what allowed him to
which I
be in.
believe he turned it down like once the selection was made, but nobody wanted to acknowledge the fact that he turned it down. So the Phillies honoring and giving him the All-Star bonus in his contract, classy move. His teammates, on the other hand, bashing Miz and bashing the MLB, not cool. Not cool. He's a 25-year-old kid. What is it like? What do you want him to do? But from the MLB perspective, like you want to
Yeah.
market the players that everybody is talking about. What better way to do that than to bring him into the All-Star game? Unfortunately, is just like wrong place, wrong time kind of deal. Like a
Yeah,
little bit,
for
they kind of
him.
jumped the gun, just jump the gun a little bit, and now it's one of those things like you really, in terms of his marketability, but in terms of like fan likeness, you really hope he has a good second half, or else they're just going to rip him apart. I think it was kind of a double edged sword for the MLB, and I think they're falling on the wrong side of it. And I think that Miz is going to take the other side of that sword, which sucks because he's such a fun talent to watch. But um, again, I didn't agree with it, but I understand it. And if quite honestly, I think the best thing they should have done is basically do what they did with Kershaw. Like they gave Kershaw the nod as I think they deemed it a legacy pick or whatever they called it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, did they
They
do
should
it with
have just
Miggy a
added.
couple years ago?
Yes, they should have
Yeah.
just done that with someone else. And granted, I don't know who you would have taken for that, but there had to have been another arm in there somewhere that you could have done for that. That's what I would have done with it, especially because Sanchez turned it down. I guess you could have given the nod to Ranger Suarez, but
Or like Justin Verlander or something, right? I mean, not like he's an all-star quality pitcher this season,
well,
but like
neither is
along those lines.
Kersh.
No, no, I understand, but like I get what you're saying though.
That
You
would have
just
been
pick
perfect.
somebody that
Trying to think of all those. I was trying to think of those guys and which ones in the NL. But yeah, he would have been perfect for it. Just give another old vet the nod and just say like you're our other legacy pick. Like you're in.
Yeah, I think that would have been a good idea. But I think everything you said is pretty spot on, right? Like I did not realize that Sanchez even turned it down, and then his teammates bashing the young guy. And like the thing I don't understand about it is like you have all these athletes who play in this league and know how it is and know how important it is to market your superstars. Like you'd think they would kind of be aware of that and maybe like pretend it's a hot mic and not say all that stuff, you know? It's like what good does saying that accomplish besides just giving fans ammo to go at some kid who didn't ask to be there? And like I think, like you said, it would have been a lot different if he wasn't grossly unqualified based on
Yes.
like, you know what I mean? It's not
Even if
like
he
he
had
was just
50 innings, like
yeah,
Skeens, I think was
yeah.
at 75. Like even if he was at 50, like, two less, three less
Well,
starts, I think people would have been like, all right, a little much, but we're kind of going with the Skeens logic. Because I think Skeens took a spot from somebody that was also probably pretty qualified last year, but it was just not as up in arms because he was barely unqualified. He was unqualified by like 12 innings at that point in the year.
what is it like a share of innings for the team you need, or is it like 3 innings a week or something like that? It's
No,
not a
it's
crazy
it's based
number.
on game. It's you have to have 1 inning per game played. So if you're at the All-Star break, you've played 80 some odd games. So you have to have 80 some odd innings to be a
Okay.
qualified pitcher.
Yeah.
So
So yeah,
Skeens was
that's
like
not
10 innings under, like something like
yeah,
that. He's
that's
like
not
basically 2 starts
crazy.
short.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not
Miz
crazy.
is,
Yeah,
70,
grossly
70 innings.
underqualified.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
He would have needed
But
15 starts.
right. And honestly, I was kind of surprised when they announced that he was going to be in it, but like I didn't get angry cuz like you've watched those 27 innings. They were awesome minus like 2 of them. But he's really good. But on the flip side, it's like I do see why it's like why this year like he's going to be there. He's going to I mean, so long as he's healthy, he's going to be a 5, 10 time All-Star, right? At least based on what he's doing right now. So, but I see the marketability thing too, and he's generated a lot of buzz. Like I'd say just as much as Paul Skeens. Do I
Yeah,
think he's as good as Paul Skeens? Probably not, but like he has generated as much buzz as Paul Skeens in the last month and a half, 2 months.
Yeah, which is why they did it. What's everyone's
Mm.
biggest complaint with the sport of baseball is that they don't market their best players well enough. Well, here they are marketing their best players, albeit
Yeah, and it's
probably,
like
probably not the best way to go about it, but
no, but
that's the
they're
line of thinking.
trying. Yeah,
Yeah, it's the correct line of thinking. It's just like it's Russell Wilson, poor
yeah,
execution.
exactly. And it's like how many superstars are they trying to market right now? And it's like not the perfect superstar, right? Like Aaron Judge, he's not like this flamboyant personality or he doesn't, talk a shit ton. Mike Trout is a wall. Like he doesn't say anything. Like you might as well go argue with the wall. Shohei Ohtani doesn't speak English. Like, you know what I mean? It's like you have to try and like yes, I agree. Like grossly underqualified. Like you said,
Yeah.
27 innings, not even close. It's a third of what you need. But he seems to be very likable and very popular in the 2 months that he's been in the MLB. So I'm with you there.
Yeah,
Couldn't
100%.
agree more. I thought there was one other thing that you had mentioned as well that you
There
wanted to
was, and I can't
highlight.
remember
Yeah.
what it is. Uh I cannot remember what it was. That was the big one, was Miz on the All-Star team.
Oh shit! I thought I had like mentioned it, and you were like, "Ah, yeah, I want to get into that too," but I also lost it down. You know what's funny? We have like pens here. Could just
I
write
could
it
I could have
down.
easily written that down and did
Yeah.
not.
But well, if it comes back to you, just interrupt me. So we can move on to the next segment, I guess. So baseball resumes on Friday. We're halfway home. How about some disappointments or surprises from the first half?
I'll go with. I don't want to reuse anybody that we've used before, but I'm going to throw some out there that we have already talked about ad nauseum on this over the
Mm-hmm.
course of the season because they continue to disappoint. So we're just going to run through those really quick. Baltimore, Texas, Atlanta, Cincinnati. I'll throw Colorado in there too because holy shit. Uh, but I don't want to redo. I don't want to redo those ones.
Yeah, I'm with you.
The big one for me, the biggest one so far has been Toronto. I mean, they're
Surprise.
playing,
Yeah, they're really good,
yeah,
playing really good ball.
they're playing really, really good baseball right now. Really happy with what they did. I actually hated what they did in the draft. It's a completely different conversation, but
Mm-hmm.
did not like what they did in the draft. But Bo Bichette is super back. I'm very stoked on what he's doing. He's getting back to that guy that can potentially throw up 200 hits in a year, which we've seen that before, and he's finally back to that form. It looks like he's probably going to be knocking on the door of it when it's all said and done. He's at 111 right now. Vladdy's plugging away. Ernie Clement's having a good year. George Springer continues to be relatively ageless. It feels like even you're getting some good production out of Alejandro Kirk, which is nice. So I've really liked what Toronto has done on both sides of the ball. I mean, shoot, man, this is not a team that was really on my radar for the AL East. I figured they would take a step forward because they like grossly underperformed last year. Did not anticipate what they're currently doing, and Barrios is looking good. He's the definition of like Mr. Consistent. You know exactly what you're going to
Mm-hmm.
get out of him, and it's basically a 4 ERA, but that's totally fine. Gossman to me has been slightly disappointing, but it's one of those things where like he was so bad last year, like he literally
Yeah,
could not have
only
been
way to
worse
go.
last year.
Yeah, only way to go
I
is up.
I thought he would take a bigger step forward, like almost in I don't want to say into the Cy Young conversation, but he was knocking on the door of that prior to last year, and
Yeah,
hasn't quite been that far. But him and Bassett have been really good. Bowden Francis has struggled, but him and Bassett have been a really solid one too, and the bullpen has been really good. Um, and I know their big addition this year was Jeff Hoffman from Philly, and he hasn't really contributed all that much in terms of ERA standards, but the bullpen itself has been really good. And this is a team that's playing really good baseball. They're leading the AL East right now, and they're probably looking like they're going to find a way into the playoffs. I know that division is really tight, like we anticipated. It's not in the order that I think we thought it would be, though.
no. I was gonna say I wanted to let you finish your thought first, though. Like the AL East, I wrote that right up, and holy shit, is it wrong? Because the
I thought
bottom's at the top's at the bottom, and the Rays are in the middle. At least I got that one right. And it's not like they're playing bad ball. That's one of my surprises, actually. I've got three of them. And I think these three teams aren't three that we really spent a lot of time talking about because the ones you mentioned, obviously, yes, and they should have been talked about. I don't know if you said Boston too, but I think they're another one, but it seems like they're kind of playing better baseball as within the last couple of weeks. They
Yeah,
had
they're
a really
starting
rough
to.
patch. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I did want to mention the Twins. They gave us a nice little head fake, but I think we were actually right about them because they were dog shit for the first month and a half, and then they played well for a month. I think they ripped off like what 15 to 20, and now they're back to being
Yeah.
shit. So
Yeah.
I think we were ultimately right about them. They're a Fugazi team, but there are three teams: the Rays, that whole division minus the Orioles is actually pretty good. Kind of like how we thought. I think the order's a lot different than what we were imagining, right?
Yep.
The Yankees are in second place
The Yankees are in second. They are 2 games back. The Red
from the
Sox are in
Blue
third,
Jays.
3 games back. And Tampa is in fourth, 5.5 games
Yeah.
back. So
So, I mean, I think I picked Tampa to be fourth, but like kind of like a by default fourth, right? Like they never seem to have those super low seasons, but they also I wasn't confident in them having the super high, like 100 win season. But they're playing some really good ball. Um, without Shane too, right? Like I feel like their pitching has been volatile at times, but like the bats seem to be in sync with that. volatility. Like if they're not pitching well, they're getting some runs, and if they're not scoring runs, the pitching is at least good enough to keep them close. I'm not saying they're winning a lot of those games, those low scoring games, because like they'll give up. They had a bad weekend against the Red Sox going into the break, but like I think they lost like 1-0, 4-1, and then I think one game they got smoked. But like they're playing good baseball as a team, right? Do you have any qualms with what I said there?
Nope. And Shane just made his first rehab start last week. So I'm assuming he'll be back at some point in August. I can't imagine that they're going to want to rush him. Although if it gets down to kind of the nitty gritty and they're looking like a wild card spot, maybe they do. I don't really know. But yeah, the pitching has been really good. I think some of it can be chalked up to the minor league park. I think at the end of the day, like that's still going to help hitters more than pitchers.
Yes.
Jonathan Aranda has been unbelievable for them. He's got an 892 OPS. He's got over 10 pumps. I mean, this is a team that I really liked coming into the year. I just didn't know what it would look like, right? We didn't really know what we were going to get out of Aranda. I know he was a big breakout candidate coming into the year. We didn't really know what we were going to get out of Junior Caminero. Like you knew the talent was there, but it's always hard to predict with those young guys, and they really stepped up to the plate. Yandy Diaz has been really, really good for them. So I think if you're a Rays fan, you got to be really happy with what they've done at this point, because this could also be kind of a flip thing. Like they could easily be a sub 500 team right now.
Oh, 100%. And like just kind of the way the front office approaches setting up their teams, right? Like you don't know what you're going to get. Like if one guy's going to, take the reins and step up and kind of lead the team, or if you kind of just have an entire team 1 through 9 with by committee guys, and like they're not having that. They're having 2, 3, 4 bats step up and kind of lead the offense. So they're not necessarily in a better position than I thought they were, but
they are.
Yeah, exactly. It's it's a
they're,
little more
playing
nuanced.
better than I thought, but they're in the same position as I predicted. I think I also picked them in fourth by default when it came down to it.
Yeah, but it's not because of the other teams are insurmountably better than them and they're just okay. Like it's not like that at all. Number 2 is the Cardinals. I think this is a team that everybody was really, really low on because they had 0 transactions during the offseason. And I might pat myself on the back a little bit here with this one too, because I took the alternative way of looking at it, saying this team should have been pretty good last year and they weren't. So I feel like maybe the front office was thinking there wasn't a huge sense of urgency to really shake up the roster and make a ton of moves. But then again, it's you should always try to make your team better no matter how your roster is constructed. But they lost Goldschmidt, but I feel like everybody's contributing in that lineup. Like Brendan Donovan's hitting over 300. Has he ever done that? I don't think so. They still really don't have starting pitching outside of Sonny Gray. I feel like Miles Mikolas isn't
I'm gonna get on my soapbox about him.
Yeah, but I feel like they're all playing well enough pitching wise, right? And then the back end of that bullpen with Helsley is awesome, right, for the most part. But Nolan Arenado's playing good ball. Wilson Contreras is playing good ball. Donovan's kind of leading your team. They're in a much better spot than I think anybody was thinking for them, for sure. And it's tough that you're in the NL Central with the Cubs and the Brewers being really competitive at the top. Just a few game lead there. But it's kind of tough because the Pirates are the Pirates and then the Reds have kind of been a disappointment. So it's you're automatically in third, but they're playing really good baseball. I don't think they're too far back from anybody else, and I don't think it's even out of reach if the Cubs or Brewers slip up in September.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I don't know if you remember, but you and I talked about this team a lot, either preseason or right as the season started, because that was a big complaint. It was why aren't the Cardinals doing anything? Mm-hmm. And we looked up and down their roster and we're what are they supposed to do? Genuinely, what do you really do with that roster? What do you add? What are you going to get rid of?
Yeah.
And there wasn't really anything. It was this was a pretty well-constructed roster last year that grossly underperformed other than Sonny Gray. And again, he continues to be the anchor. They got to get rid of Miles Mikolas. I'm sorry. It's just time.
I think he should be
is so horrible.
Yeah, I know.
Bad. I think he's bad.
I think he should be. I kind of think he should be what Kyle Hendricks should have been on the Cubs those last couple of years.
Yes,
that long relief guy that oh, maybe we'll give you a spot start here and there if somebody's banged up or he wants an extra day of rest for that guy. I think that's kind of the role they should put him in. Because I think 1 inning, he'd be fine. 2 innings, he'd be fine. Maybe even 3. You know what I mean? It just seems like every start he has, it's either he gets shelled or he gets through that order one time and then the rails come off or the wheels come off, you know? So I feel like, yes, his advanced metrics might be bad, but there's plenty of pitchers with bad analytics that make it work. But I just feel like the role he's being in, being a starter, isn't conducive to how he can best contribute to that team.
Specifically, their opening day starter. I swear he's been their opening day starter for the last 8 years. He's horrible. He's also my arch nemesis, so I like bashing him anytime he
you
gets.
don't like him for personal reasons as well
No,
as
I've got beef with
baseball
Miles
reasons,
Michaelis.
but
Yes, but to your point,
it's
the back
fair.
end of the bullpen is unbelievable. JoJo Romero, Ryan
Mhm.
Helsley, pretty much as good as it gets in an 8th, 9th spot. Brendan Donovan broke out last year with 20-plus homers, like even a really quiet 20-plus homers. And now people are starting to recognize him as like, all right, this guy is kind of a dude, and it's really good to see. And yeah, to your point, I mean, this is a team that should have been better than they were last year, and they just simply weren't. And this year they've kind of flipped that script. And I think a big one to get back to is Lars Nootbaar. He missed, I think,
Yes.
most of last year, if not all. I know Mason Wynn has kind of taken a little step back, and Newt isn't playing incredible, but those are valuable pieces. Like a guy like Newt being in the lineup all the time, as opposed to like playing by committee, is huge for them. You get a consistent bat, you get a consistent presence in the field.
Yeah, he's a
And
plus
yeah,
center
Arenado
fielder too.
is playing a good third. You know, and then you've got Alec Burleson, who's also really solid. He also kind of broke out last year, and he's got 11 pumps. I think he had 20 plus last year as well. And yeah, I mean, I think this is a solid team. I don't know what's going to happen in this division. I never know what's going to happen in this division.
No, it's
but
always
it's going to come down to the
September
wire.
15th through 30th. This division's
Yeah.
always tight at the top.
Yeah.
But it's nice to see that, like, hey, the Cubs are playing good ball. The Brewers are playing good ball. Like, they've really put it together in the last month. And, like, it looked like I was going to be right about them taking a big step back for the longest time. And then everything clicked. And it's nice to see them being competitive to, like, actually earn a division winner instead of, like, oh, somebody gets to win this division. You know what I mean? Like, half the time it's like, oh, the division winner had 90 wins. And, like, you might have 2 or 3 teams competing for 95, which is nice.
Yeah.
Kind of like what the AL East should have been.
Yes.
And it might still be, but, like, I'm not quite sure. And then the last team, kind of, sort of, is the Astros. Like, I feel like they're playing really good ball despite, you know, kind of having a reason to maybe take a step back and lower those expectations with, you know, moving Kyle Tucker and Alex Bregman last season. And you got Cam Smith in the trade for Tucker from the Cubs. You added Christian Walker, and they're playing some really good baseball as well. Like, I think Hunter Brown on the front end really stepped up this year. I feel like he was a guy that was, you know, had some expectations on his shoulder and kind of fell short a lot last year. He had glimpses, but didn't pitch a great 2024 all the way through, but he's pitching really well. He has been all season. Framber Valdez as well. Hader on the back end. They're just a good team. And, like, I think when you look at that division, it's like, well, somebody's got to win it. But I think you and I were both pretty high on the Rangers.
Yes.
And maybe it's more so that the Rangers aren't good, if we're just being honest. Like, they're not good. But I think even if the Rangers were playing much better, the Astros would still be right up there. Like, I think they are really playing good ball. I think they're at like 50-some wins, aren't they? Like 55, 58?
56.
56,
with a 4.5 game lead over Seattle. So I 100% agree with you. Hunter Brown has been a story of two halves the last 2 years, 2023 and 2024. It's been really, really bad in the first half and then is one of the best. I believe last year he was in the top 3 of qualified pitchers in the second half. Same thing in 2023. Just has yet to put together the full season. And this year he is like legitimately should get looked at for Cy Young. He's got 137 Ks and 135 innings, pitching to a 2.43, just diabolical numbers right now. Framber Valdez, year in, year out, is like one of the best pitchers in the league that nobody wants to talk about. And he's just plugging away. But outside of that, and like outside of Hader and the bullpen pieces, the pitching staff hasn't scared me in terms of rotation. So I'll be curious to see what this team looks like in a playoff format in terms of what their starting pitching is. I wouldn't be surprised to go get, like, this is a team that felt like this was a gap year almost. Like
Yeah,
they
that's what I
became
was getting at,
yeah,
right? Like no expectations. You just
and
lost
now
two
it's
huge focal points of your
yeah,
offense.
and now it's we're kind of approaching like they might have to buy, like they may have to go back
Yeah,
all
they
in on
might
this team.
actually be the one seed. They're good. They're
Um,
really good.
yeah, and then on the offensive side, like the sleeping giant woke up. Isak Paredes almost has 20 bombs. He's got 19 right now. Christian Walker is finally hitting the ball after an abysmal start to the season. Like he was horrible. We were
Yeah,
looking at that trade in May, saying like this might have been a really bad like signing for them. He's got 12 right now, which is a good step in the right direction. I think he's going to end well above 20.
20. Yeah.
2025. Yeah, Cam Smith playing good baseball. Jeremy Pena also playing really good baseball, hitting over 300. So I think you got to be really happy with what you have. Jeremy Pena's got to be one of the best qualified hitters in baseball, average-wise. I actually don't know who leads in average, but he's hitting 322 right now. He's got to be up there.
Oh, yeah.
The,
I'm not
the,
sure who else would be higher.
the sleeping giant is awake. I'll put it like that. Like I think you just have to look at what this team has right now, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them go buy a starting pitcher to really get them through the final stretch. But this is a team that, unfortunately, as much as it pains me, like could legitimately win the AL pennant again. Like you look up and down the AL, and it's like them, Detroit, and like realistically New York.
That's about it. You know, like
Yeah, like
we've talked
even
about it
Toronto
ad
doesn't really
nauseum.
scare me. Like
No, we've
Toronto
talked
doesn't
about it
actually
ad
scare me, but
nauseum, right? With
yeah,
the AL being definitely the under
yes,
talented division of the two. So
yes,
yeah, it does look like they're on a fast track for a World Series if they keep it up.
yeah,
It really
which
does.
is crazy,
Which is
crazy to
annoying
say
because
again.
it's always them. You know,
It
it's
is always
always
them.
them. But it's just a
This was
well-run
supposed to be the year.
organization.
It
Mm-hmm.
is. This was supposed to be the year they sucked, and they don't suck. Um, I let's get into some hot takes here. This is going to be a crazy hot take. Just the fact that this is like a scent, not necessarily the take itself, but more so the fact that I actually am saying this because there's just zero way that this should have happened. I'm going to go out on a limb, and the Orioles are going to finish over 500. Now,
I like
I
that.
think I think the pitching staff sucks. Well, my honest answer. I think the rotation
Well,
is
yeah,
horrible.
that's not a hot
I
take.
No, it's not a hot take at all. I
No,
hated it
that's
before we
not
got into the
anyway.
season.
That's not anyways.
That was why I was so low on them coming into the season. But I have to imagine that some of their hitters start to come around a little bit. Like Mountcastle has been pretty damn bad. O'Hearn was really hot in the start. He's starting to cool off a little bit, but still playing good baseball. Mullins can be better. Holiday is going to get better. I think Henderson is doing probably about what he's on track to do. Rutschman has been bad in terms of what we expect from him. I mean, every year he's he's supposed to be a top 5, top 6 catcher in the league, and I don't even know that he'd be in my top 10 right now. He might be 10th. He might just make the top 10 as we stand right now. They have a lot of guys underperforming. Colton Cowser was really good for them last year. He's underperforming. They've tried the rotation with some of the younger guys like Kobe Mayo, and Tyler O'Neill's looking like a horrible signing. Like he hasn't played at all. Like I just think there is too much talent in the lineup for this team to continue to be under 500. Now, the tough part, they're 9 games under 500, so they've got 10 games to make up in the second half. But I think the lineup is talented to do it. Like I really do. I would struggle to believe that this team finishes that far under 500 going into it. They've just allowed so many runs. I believe they lead the league in runs allowed. They are fourth in the league in runs allowed. So it makes sense why they've been so far down, but it's a hot take. I don't even know if it's going to happen. I just feel like the lineup is too talented, and they're going to just run into some games that they win in the second half and find a way back to 500 baseball.
I like it. I'm trying to look through the standings here and find something either to, so many teams are so mid this year. It's just you've got a couple of divisions where most of these teams are under 500 in the American League. It's crazy, minus the
Yes.
AL East.
Yep.
Um, Marlins were kind of a surprise. They're in third in that division,
They
being
are.
10 and
And
a half back. Yeah, it's pretty
I think
crazy.
it's literally just the other teams being that bad. Although, which is
Yeah,
crazy that Atlanta's in that conversation, but I think Washington is just too far away. I know some people like them coming into the year, and I like some of their pieces, but I think they're just too far away still. I don't think they have enough
yeah.
right now.
Now, I want to run this one by you before I officially endorse it, just because I don't know if it's likely with the way all their contracts are structured. Do you think the Braves can be sellers, like move a few of those pieces, or do you think this is just too fluky of a year to really make a
It's a really good
determination like
question,
that?
actually. That is a really good question. You probably,
I feel like you can move some of those
if you
pitchers.
if you were to move anybody, in my opinion, you would move Sean Murphy because Drake Baldwin has proved that he can stick
Hmm.
there. So I think that if you're gonna move anybody, he's the piece because you would still get a good return for him. He's 30. I actually don't know what his contract looks like.
He's 30.
Um, yes, he is 30.
I feel like he's way older than that.
Yeah, he's been around the block for a while.
Yeah. Okay.
That would be the one piece I would move. In all honesty, like I don't think I would move of big pieces. Right? You can move small guys,
Yeah.
you can move relievers, you can move a Bryce Elder. If you were to move anybody, I would move Sean Murphy. I think that would be the. I would think that would make the
Yeah.
most sense.
Because like I ask because it's like you do have pieces you can move, but I feel like all of them are on very team friendly deals or they're young enough to where it's like, okay, we can kind of weather out the storm for a little bit longer. Like I don't know if anybody would be a big taker on Strider right now anyways. Just him as an example, right? Like he's come back from Tommy John, his second UCL surgery hasn't looked very good for the most part. Austin Riley's on such a team friendly deal, you'd be crazy to move him at that number anyways, right? Isn't he like $87 million?
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
I mean, he's going to get a huge payday in 3-4 years when they go to arbitration. But for now, like, you'd be crazy to move a guy like him. So that's why I asked, like,
It would probably be him. I don't know his contract off the top of my head, but Sean Murphy would actually make a lot of sense. And I remembered this is what we're going to end on. I remembered the one topic that we couldn't remember
oh,
earlier because
okay,
this is
yeah,
this is
let's
what
do
we're going
it.
to
Let's
finish
do
with.
it. Okay.
Should Cal Raleigh win the AL MVP, or can
Oh,
he
yeah,
win
yeah,
it?
yeah,
However you want to phrase it, right?
yeah.
That should he? Can he? I am going to go with yes. But here's my stipulation. I think he has to hit 55 home runs to win it. I think if he hits 55 home runs, it's his. He's at 38. The second half is always telling for a catcher. So this is really the test. If he hits 55 home runs, he should be the MVP winner, and there's no questions asked. He's at 4.8 B WAR currently. It is the highest. I believe it's the highest catching season ever already. Don't quote me on that. That might be wrong. But he just cracked the top 100 for all of catcher WAR this year. I believe this is his fourth year playing, and he
For
just cracked it.
career.
And he just cracked the top
Jesus.
100 for all catchers. If he hits 55 home runs this year, he should win MVP, and I don't care what Aaron Judge does. And not to say that Aaron Judge isn't putting together like quite literally the best offensive season we've ever seen. Cal Raleigh is not that far behind him. Their OPSs are a difference of like 70 points right now, which is crazy because that means Aaron Judge is a 1.1, which he is, and Cal Raleigh's a 1.079. Silly. I genuinely do. I don't know how you look at those numbers as a catcher and say he shouldn't be MVP. I genuinely do not care what Aaron Judge does. If Cal Raleigh hits 55 home runs and keeps the 1 OPS, he is the MVP, and there's no questions in my mind. I don't even think it's close because like when you break it down at the very end of the year, Judge is probably going to have over 60 if I had to guess. Like let's just say he stays on track, he's probably going to have over 60. The home run difference being 7 or 8, I don't think that it's that far to where you can't reward the position that Raleigh plays. I think you have to give it to him.
Yeah, I would agree with that piece of it anyways. And just look where they play too. Seattle's huge. New York is
Not
not huge.
not hitter
Yeah.
friendly.
Yeah. So I like that point as well. Um, I mean, do you think the team play has anything to do with it? Because I mean, the Mariners are kind of not bad, but like the second half is always kind of seems like their
They're
downfall.
they're gonna do the same thing they do every year, and they're gonna
Yeah, and
win
they
86 games and miss the playoffs by one.
yeah, and Julio Rodriguez strikes out 40 times in the next 6 weeks, and then hits 15 home runs in September to try to convince everyone he's a good player. That yeah, okay. But do you think that has anything to play into it? I mean, it's not exactly fair because I mean the Yankees are typically a good team, but
Yeah, I always think that it is an interesting argument, and I think there's some validity to it. Um, other than when your name is Mike Trout or Shohei Ohtani. But here's the thing: is that I think the Mariners are going to be good enough, and when I say
mm,
good enough, I legitimately think that they can be a
90
playoff
wins.
team, and
Yeah,
I think they can be a playoff team in the AL. The AL is not that good,
yeah, I'd agree with that.
and if they're a playoff team, then I think it's a done deal, right? Like if they both are in the playoffs, that's kind of what you look at, in my opinion, in terms of team success. I don't think you look at it as did you win the World Series. I think it's were you good, was your team good enough to make the playoffs, and how did you impact that? So let's run through some stats really quick. So Cal Raleigh 38 home runs, Aaron Judge 35, Cal Raleigh 82 RBI, Aaron Judge 81, Cal Raleigh 10 stolen bases, Aaron Judge 6. Now here's where the big discrepancy happens. Aaron Judge slashing 355, 462, 733 for a 1.194, which is
It's
insane.
absurd. Yeah.
Cal Raleigh slashing 259, 376, 634 for a 1.011 OPS.
Him doing
The
it with the
batting
average that low is
the
also
batting
insane.
average, yeah, it is. The batting average, I think, might hurt him if
Yeah,
Judge
it's
doesn't slow
low.
down a little bit.
Yeah.
355 is unheard of no matter what year it is, like in any sort of baseball stance. That's just absurd. Um, that I would say those are the two caveats for me is can Raleigh hit 55 home runs and does Aaron Judge hit above 340 in average? I think if those are kind of the thresholds for me. Like if Cal Raleigh finishes, let's just say Cal Raleigh finishes at a 270 average, Aaron Judge finishes at 320 compared to 62 bombs compared to 55 bombs, I would give it to Raleigh. Obviously, if Aaron Judge is hitting 350 at the end of the season, you cannot
Yeah,
give it to
it's
the guy. Like that's
no.
just obscene. But I think there's a legitimate pathway. I think there's a lot of people that are saying that it's Judge unequivocally, and I don't think that's true. And I think there's some people that are and I am somebody that definitely probably in the grand scheme overvalues the catching position, but there are some people that really overvalue the catching position in terms of offensive production. I mean, there are people saying that it shouldn't be close, it should be Raleigh. I don't know if that's just Twitter bait or what, but
Yeah, I think
I'm
it's
sure
a
there
little
are some
both.
people that genuinely believe that. But I do think that Raleigh has a legitimate path to get it.
Yeah, I will too. And we haven't really recorded in the last month, but a month ago I was the unequivocally Judge guy. It didn't matter to me.
I
But
was too. I was on that.
I've since was like, okay, he's actually like making history, which really sucks that you can't give out two damn awards or just give the
They
NL
should.
MVP to one of those guys
They
this year
should.
because like yeah, they're like I mean Shohei Ohtani is having
I would take
an
Raleigh over.
awesome. So would
Yeah, I would
I.
take
I
Raleigh
would
over him.
take both of those guys over anyone in the NL, like player by player this season. And like Kyle Tucker's having an awesome season, but it pales in comparison to what those two guys are doing right now. Like hands down,
It's like last
two.
year. It's exactly
Yeah.
like last year with Judge and Witt. Like literally, like Bobby Witt would have been probably unanimous.
In the NL.
Close.
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't say that because the 50-50 thing kind of changes it when you break a historical record like that. But
Yeah, but I feel like
he
that's
probably
just
would have won it. He put together one of the best seasons ever for a shortstop. He probably wins it in the NL anyways. That's kind of how I feel about this year too. It's like
mhm.
both MVPs are in the same league this year, and one of them's not going to get it.
Yeah, and I do like what you said about overvaluing the catcher position. Like, there's one example that trumps everything. It's like Martin Maldonado still plays professional baseball at the MLB level. That's all you need to say about it. That guy hasn't hit his body weight in 15 years. That guy hasn't hit my body weight in 15. That guy hasn't hit your body weight in 15 years. He's
Dude,
hitting like 120. Dude, it's insane. Like, how does he have
dude,
a job?
let me look something up really quick. I don't typically do this, but I want to see when the last time he hit above the Mendoza line
No,
was.
I think
'Cause
it's
I
like
genuinely, I
2012.
actually think
He
you're
looked
right. No, I don't think he ever has, dude. I genuinely
once. I think one year he hit
maybe one.
220. Yeah, I think it was one year he hit like 2012 or something. He hit like 223.
Well, he wasn't a qualified hitter in like half of these seasons.
Well, I mean,
His best average, so his career average is 202, which is actually a little bit higher than I thought. He hasn't hit above 200 with more than, I'll just call it 250 at bats since, good God, since 2019. He hit 219 with 375.
yeah,
I mean, he's, dude, bad, 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 bad. His career
yeah,
slugging percentage is three. His even he doesn't even get on base. His career on base is 276.
yeah. It's crazy. So like the overvaluing the catcher position. That's your
He
example
only
right
has
there.
one Gold Glove. As good as he actually
Yeah,
is back there, he only has one
yeah.
Gold
Like,
Glove. I think it's just
but
because he's
I
that bad behind the plate or behind
at the
with the
plate.
bat. Yeah,
Yeah, I would think so, but I mean, that's kind of a that's weird you mentioned that because, like, for anyone who's little more than casual, but not a seam head like you, like,
he
that's
just didn't
what
play
you
enough.
know him for, like being like
Yeah,
an
I just don't think
exceptional
he
defensive
didn't play enough
catcher.
games in any season. Like the one season that he played over 120 games, he won a Gold Glove.
Well,
Like
you like
I don't think you can't
no,
play
that's
him.
the problem. Yeah, exactly. That's the problem. It's like it doesn't matter how good you are. Like, think of Carey Price being a catcher in baseball. Like, he'd have to be that good for that stretch in order to justify playing him every day because he's such a liability hitting. Like, you can't feasibly do it because you'll lose games because he is such a liability.
Yeah, he
Crazy.
loses you a lot more at the plate. But I agree. Like I legitimately think that he has a path to it. I'll be curious to see if any of that comes to fruition. Because for all
Yeah.
I know, he ends the season with 45 pumps and Aaron Judge hits 370
Yeah.
the rest
You
of
know
the
what
year.
the craziest part of this whole scenario is, the way it's shaking out? Aaron Judge basically was on vacation for 2 weeks in June. He was hitting like 390 on June 1st.
Yeah.
Just imagine if he played like exceptional baseball instead of astronomical baseball for June as opposed to what he did. You know what I mean? And like it wasn't even that bad. It was like a week and a half stretch where he struck out like 30 times in one weekend or whatever. What did he do? Like that series against the Red Sox, what did he do? Go like 0 for 12 with 9 strikeouts or 1 for 12 with 9 strikeouts?
Yeah.
Middle of
He did have
June?
a
Yeah,
really bad
something like
stretch in
that.
there.
Yeah, so I mean, he's hitting 355 now. It was 35 points higher. And like just imagine if he played all of June
Do you
passively.
want to take a guess at where Aaron Judge would land in the OPS rankings this year if he was just using his slugging percentage? His slugging percentage is 733. Do you want to know where
Oh,
he?
he's got to be like seventh.
No, that's way too high. He would be in the
Oh,
he'd be in the top 100, but
oh, damn.
just his slugging for on base and
Yeah,
slugging.
that's dumb. Yeah,
That's
that's he's
diabolical. You should
slugging
not be able to do that.
800. You said basically
He's
800.
733. Yeah,
Oh, okay,
insane.
basically 750. That's stupid. Stupid.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's almost like, dude, it's. I hate because every time I look at it, I'm like, it should be Cal Raleigh, and then when I go and actually look at Aaron Judge's stats, I'm like, God, it's got to be
No.
Aaron
And
Judge.
see, that's why I was so stubborn. It's like, dude, it's Judge. It doesn't
It's
matter.
so
Like,
ridiculous. It's so ridiculous.
but like, it'd be cool if they could find a way to like consider park factor into that whole
I saw someone
equation.
talking about that the other day. I actually I have no idea if they actually ran it correctly because what you would have to do is you would have to take you would have to replace all of Cal Raleigh's games in Seattle with games in New York, but you would also have to somehow evenly equate their road games. So you would almost have to you'd almost have to give them the same schedule on the road to make it work.
Yeah, it's
If that makes
just
sense.
so many different
Because
numbers. Yeah, you have to like weight each stadium
yeah,
you play
because
in numerically.
If
Yeah.
Aaron Judge is, let's just say the Yankees played at Coors Field in the first half, but Seattle didn't. Like technically, there's a different park factor. So I saw somebody tweet the other day that Cal Raleigh would have 30 home runs, not 36, if he played at Yankee Stadium and not Seattle. And I assume that meant that they kept the road games the same and flipped home games with Yankee Stadium. But again, it's not evenly weighted on road games, so it's you're basically
No.
just you're swapping one for the other. But
Yeah, like, there's no way to do it
dude,
feasibly.
there's so
Just
many
be,
baseball nerds out there. There's got to be a way for them to do that.
well, like the way I think of it is, it's like you'd have to rate like rank the park factors, which ironically,
Yes.
New York isn't even one, right?
No, they're like right in the middle.
Yeah, which is ironic because that's what you gravitate towards, like, oh, Yankee Stadium, small porch, right?
Yeah.
But it's just the low altitude and the humidity. It's what makes it relevant, probably. But you would have to like rank them, which they do, but then you'd have to attach like a multiplier to
Get
each
it each one.
each low one. You'd have to weight it accordingly and
And the higher ones, you'd
decrease.
have to do both.
Well, yeah, like
Because if you were
15
to
or
play in
16
Seattle,
would be 1-to-1, right? But then
yeah,
like the Coors Field, you'd have to somehow quantify making that less significant because it's so much easier to hit there. And what is 30? San Francisco, San Diego, one of those, something like that.
it might be Seattle, but yeah, San
So yeah,
Francisco's down there,
you get what I'm
Seattle's down
saying.
there. Yeah,
Yeah, you get the marine layer and the wind's always blowing in. Same thing in San
somebody get
Francisco.
on
It's
that.
huge.
If
Yeah,
anybody
you know
made
what
it
I'm
this
saying.
far,
Yeah, you know
anyone
what I'm
made it this
getting at,
far,
though. It's like you have
yeah.
to weight those 28, 29, 30
And
so
then
much
and then
higher.
after you do that, you'd have to somehow. Well, I guess if you weighted it, you wouldn't have to put them on the same schedule because it would even itself out. But
Yeah. Well, maybe not,
I still
like,
think no, I still think you would because you would even if you weighted a Coors Field home run, you would still get an advantage having played there if the other guy didn't.
yeah. It's
Way above
I'm
my head.
sure it could be done, but yeah, like we might have to
Someone do it.
phone a
Someone do it.
statistics friend, but
Take a lot
would
more
be
than that. It's
cool.
gonna take a whole team. That would be cool.
But
All right.
before we wrap up, we are pulling for Cal Raleigh, right? Like we'd love to
Yes,
see
we
it
are. We
happen.
are endorsing Cal Raleigh. I'm on the
Big
Cal.
dumps.
Just like last year, I endorsed Bobby Witt. I'm not anti-Judge. I just want to see somebody else win it.
Yeah, I do too. I'm with you. So,
I
you want to
respect
wrap us up?
defense too. I respect defense. Let it be
Yes,
known.
very good. Best in the league.
Bobby Witt, Cal Raleigh, respect defense. That's all we got. Be sure you're following us on Twitter at Overdue Sports. Subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already. Like and subscribe whatever you feel it deserves, whether that's a 1-star, whether that's a 5-star. It helps us out no matter what. Roast us in the comments if you feel like it. We've got football stuff coming up really, really soon. We're back to
We
the
promise.
gridiron in about 3 weeks here. We're back on the gridiron. We're going to bash the Badgers a little bit, and then we're going to dive into all of your favorite things: Heisman picks, conference winner picks, win totals that we like. It's all coming, and then we're going to be launching a new special thing for our weekly videos that we got a lot of views on. Last year, the Lookahead episodes, those are going to be live streamed before the games. People can jump in, ask your questions, ask us about our games. I'll pull up the record at some point, but we were well above 500 last year on our look ahead pick. So we're gonna keep rolling with that, and that's hopefully you guys subscribe so you guys can get those every single week, and we'll see you next time.